The Orange and Blue Report presented by the UVA Health System, coming to you on location here from the Spectrum Center as we come to you from Charlotte, North Carolina, the site of the NCAA tournament's opening rounds for the top-seeded Virginia Cavaliers. It'll all start up here tomorrow night alongside the Magic Man, Jimmy Miller. I'm Dave Koehn, and Jimmy, you know, this is nothing new to you. It's nothing new to the Cavaliers. As a matter of fact, you've been a one seed of your own right back in the day. We're talking a long time ago now with Ralph Sampson, but nonetheless, you have an idea for what it's like. Is a top seed, is there any kind of pressure that really you can simulate to get a feel for what these guys are going to be dealing with tomorrow night?
Well, let me say, I've always said that the NCAA tournament is the greatest sporting event in all of sports. So what's going to unfold for the next 3.5 weeks is really a combination of the expected and the unexpected. And I've had two perspectives from being a #1 seed and kind of coming in with the bullseye on your back and the pressure that comes with that being a #1 seed, and that trickles down. That's a different type of setting coming into a tournament like that. I've also been on the other side where we were, I think, a 7 seed coming in as an at-large. You play a lot more loosely, more, freer, if you will. And it was kind of playing with house money, and it was that year we ended up going to the Final Four.
All that to say, Virginia wasn't expecting news they got this week. DeAndre Hunter lost for the NCAA tournament to a broken wrist. Before we get into the true impact of what that means for this team on the court, to the point you were just making, as it relates to pressure and everything, the expectation going into this, if you're looking for a silver lining, do you think it takes any of the pressure off?
I think the pressure is going to be the same for this Virginia team in the way that they've had the ability to focus game in and game out. Without DeAndre, I think it changes from an 8-man rotation down to a 7-man rotation, so it's going to change the way guys get minutes. But all these guys have played. Maybe there's an 8th guy that plays in Marco Anthony or a Jay Huff. We'll have to wait and see about that. But as it relates to DeAndre Hunter, I mean, he's the kind of guy, and the impact on this Virginia team, we know he's the kind, we've said this before, a guy that can get you 20 points, he can get into the paint, he can get to the line, he can defend. The DNA of this team is completely different with him on the floor. From
DeAndre Hunter's versatility, now no longer with this team, it does change the landscape. You go against a UMBC team that is coached by a gentleman who, as a matter of fact, was a ball boy back when you were playing at UVA. My, how far we've come, and those gray hairs become a little more apparent now.
Yeah, he was 7 or 8 years old. When I think of UMBC, I think of probably two things. One is Ryan Odom. He's a coach's son. Dave Odom is his father, and we all know the successful career that he's had as a coach. And this guy has been around the game of basketball his whole life. And as you said, he used to ride his bike from where they lived over to U-Haul and just rode right in there, and it was out there on the court with practice with us every day. So he's a remarkable, bright young mind. Their first 2 seasons, they've won 20-plus games. I don't think they've ever done that in the history of the game. And then you think of Jarius Lyles, and he's a 6'2" guard. He's a senior, and the experience that he brings, his ability to play in this dance, he's going to be fired up. He's averaging 20 points a game. He had 27 against Vermont. So we know that he can shoot it and fill it. They do a great job of spacing and spreading the floor, and I think it's going to be an interesting challenge for both teams, and hopefully Virginia can wear them down over time.
Well, the Retrievers of UMBC defied the odds by snapping a 23-game losing streak to Vermont in the America East Championship game to punch their ticket here to Charlotte. They'll try to defy the odds again, trying to become the first 16 seed ever to take down a #1 seed, as Tony Bennett's bunch will try to advance on and keep this beat going in what's been an exceptional season here in 2018. So we will hit the airwaves, by the way, tomorrow night, 8:30. It will be a tip-off of roughly 9:20, 9:30. It's the second game of a doubleheader. We hope you can join us across the Virginia Sports Radio Network. Thanks for stopping by.